Hello, veterinary friends. Welcome to the Veterinary Life Coach Podcast. Today, I have a wonderful guest for you. Her name is Wende Whitus. Wendy's a keynote speaker, author, and the founder of Personal Retreat Day. She's a freelance location scout for movie and commercial production. She's passionate about teaching people the value of prioritizing one day every month to invest in their well-being and personal development. She's the author of a guided journal called Your Rhythm of Rest and Reflection. And I'm delighted to have her here today to speak with me. Welcome to the podcast, Wende.
Thank you, Julie. It's great to be here.
I love this idea, so I'm so excited to learn about it. And I think the people that are listening will be too.
Well, thank you. And I really am happy to have this platform to be able to share with veterinarians and people in that field because I know it's a very high stress demanding career, but also one that's very fulfilling. So I want to give people tips to enjoy both sides, the
Yay,
stress, manage that, but also revel in the joy of being a veterinarian
of
as
how
well.
fun this job is, right? I love
Yeah,
that. So every time I have a guest on, my first question is for them to tell me their story because I kind of like to hear how this all came about. And so I want to hear about all
sure.
all of it.
Okay, well, great. So the origin story of Personal Retreat Day and that journey for me started, was about 12 years ago, 12 and a half years ago, because I remember it was summer. It was the hottest day of the summer in South Carolina. And I had this brilliant idea of having a garage sale, a massive
On the
garage
hottest
sale.
day. Wow.
So you can picture the scene. I'm like lugging all the furniture out onto the baking driveway and trying to fight off the early birds and just sweating buckets. And all of a sudden, in the midst of just all this chaos, I felt this sharp shooting pain go up the side of my neck. And it stopped me in my tracks because it was not anything like I've ever experienced before. It felt like there was a gaping hole in an artery going to my
Oh,
brain.
wow.
It
How
really did.
scary.
My mind went to stroke and I or I stumbled inside and my husband was out getting change for the garage sale. So my oldest, who was a teenager at the time, I'm like, as calmly as I can, lie on the couch. And I'm like, Lori, you need to call 911. Mom's having a stroke. So fast forward, ambulance ride, my husband meeting me at the hospital, and this, very young ER doctors doing tests and saying, "Oh, we can't find anything wrong with you." And so I was like, "Are you kidding? I'm dying,"
Oh,
But
this really hurts.
I know it really hurt. So they sent me home with an appointment for a cardiologist the next day, which when I went to had the battery of tests with the CT scan and everything. I remember the doctor looking across from me, very attentive and taking it seriously and saying, "Well, Wende, here's your scans. We're not seeing any gaping hole. We're not seeing any problems with your heart or your arteries or your brain. Everything looks completely normal." And so I'm like, "Well, what is it then? Is this all my, it's not in my imagination. I'm feeling pain." And he said, it could be related to stress. Is there anything that you're stressed out about? So I had to laugh because what I didn't mention about this garage sale is we were getting rid of 90% of our worldly belongings in preparation for a move overseas.
Mm.
So yeah, there was a lot
You
to be
think there's
stressed
stress?
about. There was a lot to be stressed
Wow.
about. And long story short, this event made me realize that there was stuff that I wasn't dealing with, that I was just on the treadmill of the fast track of getting everything done. I'm going to solve the problems that come along, but I wasn't taking time to do three really important things. As I reflected on this event, and I stepped back. I was able to take some steps to manage the stress, and the pain would come and go. But even just the mere fact of knowing that it was stress related and not something physical, in the sense that, a medical emergency, I was able to take that step back and think about what it was that I was lacking. And I came up with three things. And I've put 3 R's to this as I've constructed this framework for what ultimately worked for me. And the first R was rest. I was lacking deep mind, body, and soul level rest. So not just taking a nap, not just, carving out some time, but really taking the time to step off the treadmill of busyness and step back for me. The second thing I really lacked was any chance to reflect on what this move was meaning to me and my family. So in all of the to-do lists that had to be done to get us to be where we wanted to be overseas, I wasn't celebrating with family and friends, making new memories. I wasn't thinking about the impact of these choices on our future and just where we had been. And the third thing I was lacking was a chance to reorient to what was coming next. So reflecting on the past, but also looking forward. And because we had an unknown timeline with our move and we had so many boxes that still needed to be checked, I wasn't able to adequately plan for the next steps in the future, nor was I taking time and energy to do so. So as the months progressed and we did finally make that move and we got settled into our new home, I decided it was time for me to be intentional about those 3 things on a regular basis. And what I decided to do, I had heard about this in a cross-cultural training meeting that I'd gone to, was somebody suggested taking 1 day every month just to step back and not have any other commitments on the calendar. So I kind of took that to the next level and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm really going to prioritize 1 day every month and see how that goes. So over the course of the past decade, even after we moved back back to the United States from being overseas for 3 years, I still took that and made it a commitment for myself. Each and every month, I would take 1 day just to step back. I would say no to other commitments. I would protect that day as much as I could, and I would just rest, reflect, reorient over and over again. So that's how it started for me. And since the pandemic, I've been taking that to other people too. And I'm finding it really resonates, especially with people in high stress, high demand jobs.
Yeah. So you kind of make it sound like, tell me if this is the way it happened, that you had this, what you thought was a stroke, you got all checked out. They said, it could just be stress. And then you immediately like understood. Is that the way it happened? Or did it take time for you to like go, oh, I have to figure out what kind of stress, or did you get help? Was it just like something you came up with on your own?
It wasn't immediate. That's a great question. It wasn't immediate that I put this like rhythm together for myself as a response to it.
Yeah.
But even, I will say for me, even just knowing the mere fact, just knowing, okay, this is, uh, this is not something that I need a, a medical or a physical doctor's care to
Right.
understand, that I was able to kind of learn to self-regulate because I've done some other things in the past, a lot of meditation and yoga.
Okay. So
And
you always
so
you already had kind of had that mindset.
I did. So I
Yeah.
already had this mindset. I have some tools. Let's see. And I did not go to therapy for the symptoms, but I highly recommend that for people. So
Sure.
I've been to therapy since, and I found it to be a very helpful complement. But for me, it was kind of a gradual understanding of like, how can I learn to manage the stress in my life and putting different tools in the toolkit. But for me, the 1 day a month really helped me to bring some structure and like a blueprint to
Yeah.
self-care and
It's
personal
kind of like a
development.
package, I think.
Yeah.
And it sounds doable.
Yes.
So because you came up with it because you heard someone else had suggested it and you thought, oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
So then that 1 day, that you decided to take per month, how did you program that for yourself? Like, how did you know what to do? Did you just like, I'm not going to work that day and I'm just going to lay on the couch? Or like there was some idea of what it was going to look like when you had, like, you ended up with the three things you're going to do, but was
Sure.
there like a process in getting there?
There was. So it was a lot of trial and error. I think the first few times I asked myself, and I still ask myself this question every month, is what do I need the most right now? What do I
Mm.
need the most this
That'd be a
month?
good question to ask yourself every day, right?
Every day,
I love
exactly.
that.
But
Especially if
even in
you're
the
in a big high stress situation.
exactly,
Yeah.
because sometimes it is just rest. I have had personal retreat days where I've just taken like an extended nap and do what you said, just lay on the couch and
Lay on the
zone out because
beach,
that's
lay
what
by
I
the pool.
need. Yeah, that's what I need most because I'm coming out of a month that's been really very high stress. Other times it's like the opposite where I'm kind of floundering or I'm in a transition period from one stage of life to the next. What do I need the most? That month might be some deep reflection time or planning for the future. I'd like to include all three every day, every personal retreat day, because I
Yeah.
think they all kind of work together as a cohesive um, package. But sometimes it's more of one and less of the other. So I've kind of refined it and brought a structure and a blueprint to it over the many, many months that I mean, 12 years worth of 12 months, which was like 144 uh, times that I've done this. So I've refined it, especially as I started telling other people about it. I wanted to have more than just a concept in my mind, more of a blueprint to share with other people.
So it's something that somebody could read or come to you and you actually have this is how you do it.
This is how you do it. So
Okay.
because people, what I love about the personal retreat day method is that there's a structure to it, but it's a loose structure. So what I tell people is consider it kind of like building blocks or Lego pieces that you can interchange.
Mm,
So I have like 8 elements that I tell people about that I include in mine, but then you take what you like and leave the rest, whatever resonates with you. So whereas I
which it,
incorporate, for example, some meditation into mine, that may not be for you. You may want to do something else. I do a lot of journaling, but other people aren't journalers. I still encourage people to record the insights, but it might just be on voice memo for them that they can come back to
sure.
later. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's kind of customizable to the individual in a
it
lot of
is.
ways, but
Yeah,
it provides guidance so you kind of know what to do.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you're coaching people through this or when you're helping them figure this out, what do you find is the most common problem? Like what's the roadblock? Do we come up with ideas that I can't do this or like what do you find?
Absolutely. So for busy people, the main objection is time.
I don't have
I
time.
don't have time
Yeah.
to take one day a month. When am I going to find a day off? How is that possible? But
Right, which
I'll
is
tell
kind of
you
sad, right? That we don't even have one day a month that we can just not be on. That's
exactly.
really a
Yeah,
sad thought.
it is, Julie. But how I counter that is because I'm just as busy as the next person. I'm a
You have
freelance
two
location
jobs.
scout. I
Yeah.
have 2 jobs. I'm trying to promote the personal retreat day method and all my work there with coaching, speaking, writing. But I'm also a freelance location scout. I
Yep.
also have a family. I have a dog. I have all the
All
responsibilities
this
that
stuff, a house.
all this stuff.
Yep.
Exactly. So, how I've reframed that challenge and that objection is I liken it to money. When you have a pile of money. You can do many things with it. You can spend it. You can invest it. You can save it for the future. Same thing with time. We all have time. We find time for the things that are important to us. So
Sure.
the first reframe is this is a day for you to spend with the one person that you are going to be guaranteed to be with for the rest of your life, and that is you.
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So
Right.
if you can't find
Better like
time for
yourself.
yourself, that's right. And having that inner conversation, because
Yeah.
that's really what it's all about, learning to understand yourself better, then there may be a hidden objection underneath the I don't have time objection. But secondly, once that's dealt with and you realize, hey, this is worth my time. I say it's you're not spending it or wasting it. Like you can do money, spend it or waste it. You are investing in it because if you really take a day for yourself every month, you're investing that into the future that you're designing on purpose instead of letting happen to you. So it's an
Yeah.
investment.
It's an investment in that you're actually, even though we all have the same amount of moments, you're creating better use of those moments in the future because you're doing the planning for the future. And so
Exactly.
you're kind of multiplying it like you would money that's invested.
That's exactly how I see
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
One one of the misconceptions that people have about planning for their future, whether it be for the day or for the month or for the year, is that you just planning is all about adding things. And I'm going to add this to my plate. And oh, I haven't done any volunteer work. Maybe I should add. Sometimes it's taking away. So giving yourself that day, a month to really look at the month ahead and say, hey, I don't have much margin next month. My calendar's already pretty full. That day allows you the opportunity to say, is there anything I can take off of my plate? Maybe delegate to somebody else who would really want to do that job, or just to say no more. So sometimes just looking and evaluating what's essential in my life and what can I drop for the time of this season, busy time in my life. What can be maybe put on the plate for another month that has more margin. So giving yourself that opportunity to really look at the month ahead and say, hey, what can I take away? What can I subtract instead of adding, adding?
Right, right. Yeah, so it's kind of an exercise in what went well last month, what do I want for next month, and kind of taking that time to try to figure it out.
Exactly.
So how long did it take you to get good at this? Like to where it's easy. Like I know how to do it. I do it every month because I can
Yeah,
anticipate that's where my brain wants to go. Oh, I could take a day off, but I don't have the first idea what to do with it. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
that's my oh, then I got to plan something. What am I going to do?
Right,
So,
right.
how long did it take you to like get this like that this is a habit and I'm good at it?
Get in this rhythm and habit. I think it
Yeah.
did. Looking back, that's a great question. I don't think anyone has asked me that before. Looking back, I have some memories still of some of my personal retreat days in France. We lived in France when we were overseas. And I have really fond memories of some of the things that I did during that day. Um, and I'll tell you, here's another thing as we're talking about it that people have a misconception about. People ask like, well, doesn't that cost a lot of money to do a retreat every month? And I'm like,
Is there
no, it's
thinking you're
not
like
about
traveling somewhere?
it's not about that. It's not about spending money. It's about like getting out in nature, taking a nature walk, or being in your home during the pandemic, just being in my bedroom closet literally to get away from.
To get away from all the
So
people in your house?
that's right. That's right. So
Yeah,
it's,
that the
you don't have to
pandemic was
spend any
tough,
money.
especially
Yeah,
for extroverts.
absolutely. So, but it is, I think it evolved over the years, but it was always something that I made sure that I was enjoying. So it didn't take long for me to get in a groove because I made sure that I was also doing some fun things during that day, things that fed my soul. So it's not all about like navel gazing and introspection, but
Right.
also about like for me getting out in nature, just doing a leisurely walk is just like therapy and medicine. So and ending the day with something kind of rewarding, like a treat, like having an ice cream cone or, you know, having a glass of wine by the fire pit or
If that's what you
reading
love.
in the bubble bath, something enjoyable and restorative. So, because I, from the get go, included those elements, in my personal retreat days. I think it was always something that I looked forward to, which made it easy to implement each and every month. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can feel my veterinary self thinking this, and so I'm sure there's other people that are thinking it. We're very perfectionistic, which it
Yeah.
sounds like you are too.
Yeah.
And so my thought is, well, okay, if I do this, I want to do it right. Like, how do
Uh-huh.
you do it right? So talk about that a little bit. Did you ever feel that way that you had to do it a certain way, or that if you took a day and you didn't, rest enough
Didn't
or
do it.
reflect enough, or like, did you ever feel like you weren't doing it
Oh
correctly
yeah.
and that was
Oh
stressful?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That
Because I
that
can
is I
see,
can
I'm
resonate.
thinking that. I'm thinking there's other vets going, well, what if I do this and I do it wrong?
Yeah. And I think I had to learn that for myself over the course of it is like it's not always going to be great
Like the
or
best day
perfect,
ever.
the
You're
best day
expecting it to
ever.
be like your
Yeah.
best day of the whole month. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just kind of having to self-talk and like, this doesn't have to be perfect. It's still going to be what I mean, it's still going to give myself what I need for today. And I think the worst times for me is when it is one of those days where I feel like, gosh, all I just want to do is just curl up and do nothing, feeling guilty about that.
Right.
And those turn out to be the aha at the end of the day. That's just what I needed. It was just to kind of chill out for a while because I haven't been allowing myself that time. But yeah, I definitely get the perfectionistic and I like to check the boxes. And in my journal, I even have like a little checklist. And then I went after it was published, I'm like, I should have not had that in there because
But
that
but
does mean
really people
perfectionism.
people like that, people like us
Mhm.
need this.
Yeah,
And the
need
fact
this.
that you've come up with this idea and it's kind of packaged a little bit that you need these three components, not necessarily in that order, I'm guessing,
True,
in
true.
order to make this day, what it could be, I think it is important because a lot of times we're stressed because we don't know what to do or how to fix it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Many people that come to me for coaching are just like, I'm so stressed out, but I have no idea what to do. And then they end up in a
yeah.
panic attack or at the hospital, which I've done myself. Thought I
Hmm.
was having a heart attack and it was just stress. I've been
Yeah,
there. So I
yeah.
understand that kind of your mind gets so bogged down that you don't even realize it.
Yes, I 100% can relate to that. And this is why I think the rhythm of doing this monthly is kind of the secret sauce, the magic of it. Because if you take this and as a every once in a while is okay, it's fine. You're
Right.
starting off, you may miss several months or maybe just do it once a year, once a
Sure.
quarter, try it out.
Yeah.
But what I've found is having a consistent rhythm of doing it monthly means that you're not it's kind of a perfect amount of time, 30 days or so, to be able to really look back and go like, oh, what are the wins and what were the challenges? Because it's not that long of a time to really think back and reflect on. And a month ahead is not too much time to really plan your next steps.
Mm.
So to me, that's why I think the monthly really helps create a balanced approach to your self-care and personal development, because you can really dig into like, oh, 30 days, I can look back at 30 days, I can look ahead to the next 30. It doesn't seem overwhelming.
Yeah, and it kind of takes the pressure off of I have to take care of myself every single day. Like
Hmm. Right.
I want people to do that anyway, but there are some weeks that get away from you.
Sure.
Even now when I don't go to work full time, I work here, but I'm not like in the clinic full time. There are days that just get away from me and I don't have time to do anything self-care wise. And
That's right.
so I think the idea that, okay, I just need one day a month, that idea is helpful because you can just be like, oh, well, today wasn't a good self-care day, but I do know I have that day coming up. And so
That's right.
even if I
Yeah,
miss it here and there on my regular, I still have that whole day to kind of get my act together. I love that.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said something in one of your blogs that really spoke to that, which is that you said there will be days when work monopolizes your time and energy, but do not let that be every day, right? We do have to take the time for ourselves every once
Right.
in a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think that's really why the monthly thing feels like it would work. Because I'm going
Mhm.
to try it now that you're talking about it.
Oh, good.
Um,
So
Tell me,
glad.
does it have to, do you plan yours the same day every month? Like, is it always the first of the month or do you just
No,
randomly pick a day in your
I
calendar
don't.
and
And
say, this is going to be the day?
this is so funny because I'm like,
Because
I know I'm on
I'm,
Zoom and
I
I'm,
know
I have
it's the sunlight. The
the
sunlight's getting,
sunlight is, yeah.
yeah.
So anyone watching this on YouTube, it's going to be really weird.
Sometimes the lighting changes. I
It
have a open
does.
window here, and if you don't have the right lighting, you start to turn green and stuff.
I know it's
I've done that
awful, but
before. A lot of my
I'll
videos
try
are
to, I'll try
sunlit.
to ignore my face here. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
just that
yeah,
the sun rays are messing you up.
they
Can
are.
you shut that window
I
behind you, or
am. I'm going
do
to
you have
shut this
drapes?
behind me. I
Just pull your
will.
drapes across. I have to do that sometimes in
Yeah,
Michigan. It gets me. There you go.
perfect. Okay,
It's
much
better.
better. Thank you for allowing that pause. That's perfect.
No worries. It's
Uh,
everybody's can do whatever
so
they
much
want.
better.
That's why the dogs are always in here with me.
Yeah, it
So
makes
yeah,
it
tell me
real.
about that. How do you plan it?
So this is how I plan it. And especially you asked if I do it the same day every month. I do not. But what I found that works for me, especially as a freelancer, it is so hard to predict my schedule.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
may have a commercial that comes up that I don't want to turn down that's scheduled on my personal retreat day. So I have to ask myself, well, is this more important? Can I just reschedule my personal retreat day? So what I do is as a freelancer, I map out my entire year and I put it on the calendar for the first day or the first Monday of every month is generally what I put on the
Okay.
calendar.
Yeah.
If things come up that I need to reschedule, I just reschedule it. I never skip it, or I try really hard not to skip it.
Right. Just
Every
put it
once in
on
a
another
while,
day.
I'll have a shorter one every once in a while. But what I like to do is put them on the calendar so it's already there. That's worked for me. I do have some people in my community that do it on the first day or the last day of every month, and that's worked for
They
them.
love it. Yeah.
They love it to have that consistent structure, but and their lifestyle allows them to do that. So that I think that's been the hardest thing is like find is finding the time and sticking to it. Again, I've given myself the grace to say, okay, this thing that's come up, I try to say, okay, I am the most important thing, and I'm going to keep this no matter what. But
Right.
there are times when you just have to reschedule. So that's what I
Sure.
recommend is like put it on the calendar, put personal retreat day and cover that whole day in your calendar so that you are reminded to protect this time, but be flexible too. If something comes up that you can't turn down, then just reschedule.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
just bump it out another day. Kind of have a
Hmm.
backup plan. I always ask people to do that when they're planning their time is plan it, put it in your calendar, but then plan a contingency. Because
Yes.
something always, especially if you're working and you have kids and somebody's
Someone gets
sick or you're
sick and
sick
yeah.
or yeah. So it's always a good idea to have a backup plan.
That's right. Yeah.
So what have I not asked you that I should ask you about
That
this?
that's a great question. I think um one thing that people ask me a lot is like, how do I get started? Do I take an entire like 8 hour day to do this? And
It sounds like a lot.
it
I would
does,
get
it sounds like
stressed
a
out.
lot. Yeah, exactly.
I get
So
that.
what I suggest if people want to dip their toe into this and try a personal retreat day is find a day in the next, let's say 30 days, whenever you're listening to this, find a day in the next 30 days on your calendar that you don't currently have any other commitments. No doctor's appointments, no picking up this kid from soccer practice, nothing. Find that free day in your calendar and commit to trying it. Put personal retreat day on your calendar and then take the time that you need for rest, reflection, reorienting to the next month, and then stop once you feel like you've had a nice break for yourself, that you've really had that inner conversation, that you've really looked back and looked forward and feel like you have a grip on your life and where you want to go for the next month, then feel free to stop and go back to work or back
Ice
to
cream.
your life. That's right. Have that ice cream, cement it with a reward, and just try it. Because I think once you try it, you'll realize, aha, this is really helpful. And again, cementing it with that nice reward, something, a treat for yourself, will make you want to come back to it the next month.
That's very, yeah, I can see that being super helpful. That's awesome. All right. Anything else? I'm trying to think if there's any other, I mean, I'll definitely have to go read about it on your website and all of that so we get a little more detail. I'm guessing you
Yes.
have the 8 steps and all that
I
in there.
I do. I have a blog that goes through a lot of that on my website. And I will tell your listeners that if they want to learn more, I do a monthly newsletter.
Hmm.
And that's also on my website. So I
Okay.
can share the link with you and the show
Yes.
notes. But it's easy to remember. It's personalretreatday.com.
Oh, okay. That's the
Yeah,
website name. Yep.
personalretreatday.com.
Okay.
And when you sign up for my newsletter, you get a free resource, which is a grid like a one-page grid that I've put together that is almost like a miniature personal retreat day all in itself. Because what it does is it has different spheres of life on the left-hand column, where it's your physical health, mental, emotional, relationships,
Like the life wheel kind of thing.
career, like a
Same
life
idea.
wheel, except
Hmm.
it's a grid, exactly. And
Right.
then across the top, there's some questions that help you evaluate what's working and what's not working. So reflection questions, and also looking ahead. Is there anything that I want to focus on in that category in the month ahead? So you'll get that as a free resource when you sign up for my newsletter.
Cool. I love that. Yeah. Okay. So tell them where to find you.
So you can find me at personalretreatday.com. That's my website, and also my handle I primarily use LinkedIn and Instagram occasionally. I do not like to be on a lot of the social media sites, and that's by
Probably
design.
wisely so, right?
That's by design. That actually
Yeah.
came out of some personal retreat days for myself. I'm like, yeah, I need to kind of cut back on this.
Yeah.
So I
Social
stick to
media
LinkedIn
will
and
eat up a
Insta.
lot of your time, won't it?
It will.
I think that's
Absolutely.
one thing. If you're doing a personal retreat day, you should probably put your phone away,
I highly encourage that.
right? So nobody can bother you and you can't get sucked into the social
The
media
vortex.
vortex, right?
That's right.
All right, that's awesome. Well, this has been super fun. I love learning about this. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think veterinarians can use it and probably will use it because, we think that we're so busy that we can't carve out one day, but I would be willing to bet that that was possible. So I
Absolutely.
encourage people to try it in some, take what you want and make it your own, but I really do think it's a genius idea.
Well, thanks,
I'm
Julie. Thanks
super
for letting
excited to
me.
meet you, Wendy. And if we come up with some more things to talk about, maybe we'll have you come back and if there's another topic that you're passionate about, we can talk about that.
That would be great. I'd be honored to come back.
Yeah, the more that we can help each other, the better. And this is a genius idea. And I love your story about how you came up with it. So I would encourage people that are listening, if you're struggling, if you're feeling stressed out, or even physical symptoms that you can't get a diagnosis for, yeah, a lot of it is stress. And
Yeah,
so if you just make that okay and then try to find some coaching, some therapy, some techniques like the personal retreat day to help you, you will feel better,
that's right.
honestly,
Yeah.
right? All right, everybody, this is Wende Whitus, and I encourage you to look her up on Personal Retreat Day. And if you like what we talked about today and you want to have her back, just let me know, send me an email, and we'll stay in touch so I can get in touch with her and we'll talk some more about taking care of yourself because this is a big topic for us. Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks, Julie.
Have a
Pleasure.
beautiful week, everyone. Bye.